Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngozi on sign language. Elizabeth Nakakuni. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Yoweri Museveni orders army to take full responsibility of Angola murder. The president also directs CID to fight crime to ensure socio-economic transformation. Katikiro launches installation of firefighting tools at Kasubi Tombs. And Kids Athletics Day celebrated reveals talent and passion. Hello once again. Lango community in northern Uganda has been cancelled against attempting vengeance on Toro community, whose own private Wilson Sabiti killed Minister Charles Ngola on Tuesday last week. The Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, says the act committed by the soldier of the UPDF was done in individual capacity and not as a tribal group. This she appealed during the national funeral service for the deceased Minister Ngola at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, where the family expressed forgiveness for the errant soldier.
The motive behind his shooting to death may still be a subject of investigation. But not even the unfortunate and nonsensical social media jokes will stop the public from eulogizing the fallen minister. Colonel retired Charles Ngola met his unfortunate death from one of his bodyguards, Private Sabiti Wilson.
That while we mourn the loss of our brother, Honorable Ngola, others celebrated his demise through jokes on social media. I condemn this practice because it is inhuman and immoral.
The humble public servant had served diligently in the capacities of army officer and political leader. His humility and generosity had not been in the public domain until his ill-fated death.
So people used not to cook with firewood during evenings. So the name Machodwogo was an appreciation, an expression of rewarding him with a name that he worked to make people return back home.
To the extent that his counterpart from the neighboring Republic of Kenya acknowledged his commitment to service.
To me, he was senior to me in age, in experience at work, and I was ready to learn from him. It's very unfortunate. We talked, we bonded. I even asked him, this Okello name, we have it in Kenya. So he's the Luo of Uganda, the same as the Luo of Kenya.
It is in this spirit that Minister Betty Amongi has an appeal to the community of Lango in agreement with the children to the deceased.
We cannot therefore condemn the people of his tribe or clan for a crime he committed while on state duty. I appeal to you, the people of Lango, that we can only call upon government to support the family, considering that the death of their breadwinner and our leader was not expected, and that he died in the cause of performing state duty.
Whenever someone wrongs you, that's a debt for God to handle. Just forgive. We acknowledge that the greater part of the family is doing something else to seek justice for him, but as the children of the late, we take this opportunity to forgive Private Sabiti. May his family find rest.
The killer soldier may be forgiven, but is this enough? This is what other ministers and leaders say.
We need to be more vigilant on the people who go to guard the senior officials. And also at the time of recruitment, people are making mistakes, thinking that an army is a place where you can go and rehabilitate indisciplinaries.
The family raised are able to forgive the killer who killed their father. And that shows the kind of heart that is bringing up. He's brought up the children and the family with the heart of God.
Others reason that his death has a lot for other leaders to learn from.
Whatever offices we are in as leaders, we should take responsibility of the actions of ourselves, but also the people we lead. The regret expressed by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Commander-in-Chief, to the family of Honorable Patrick Charles Engola, that regret is a point that we must be humble in our service, whatever offices we hold.
Speaking as a believer, forgiveness is okay. Forgiveness without conditions is a Christian expectation of all believers.
Colonel retired Charles Engola, who was Member of Parliament for Oyam North County, will be laid to rest on Saturday, 13th May, 2023.
Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has expressed anger over the murder of the State Minister, Colonel retired Charles Engola, by a UPDF attached bodyguard, Private Sabiti Wilson, describing the murder as an embarrassment to the UPDF establishment. He has asked the army to take full responsibility. Now, while officiating at the funeral service at Kololo as the chief mourner, President Museveni said the late Engola had nothing to do with the cause of his death, and the Chief of Defence Forces has constituted a commission of inquiry to conduct investigations into the murder and produce a detailed report.
Chief Mourner President Yoweri Museveni Kaguta arrived at Kololo Independence Ground, accompanied by the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni at 10:30 a.m. to be part of the congregation at the funeral service of his fallen State Minister for Labour and Industrial Relations, retired Colonel Charles Okello Engola. Shortly, the casket containing the remains of the late Charles Okello Engola touched the ground. The funeral service kicked off with the laying of the wreath on the casket of the fallen State Minister. President Yoweri Museveni and his wife were the first to lay their wreath, followed by widow and children of the deceased. In regard to UPDF protocol, the Chief of Defence Forces, General Wilson Mbasumbadi, was the last since the slain minister was a retired army officer. Despite describing the late retired Colonel Engola as a patriot, President Museveni was empathetic that Engola was sacrificed under unclear circumstances he had no idea about. However, Museveni holds the view that many individuals have deviated from the NRA ideology of low pay and resorted to asking for higher wages and salaries, which government cannot afford.
Anything to do with Angola. It must be something else, a problem somewhere else. Now, we are still waiting for the report. The CDF has constituted a board of inquiry. I saw it in an army message. Fortunate that this wonderful cadre who gave his best ended up being killed by a bad product produced by our system. I want to apologize to the family, to the people of Lango, to the people of Uganda, to the people of Africa.
Whereas clan leaders in Oyam district have been advocating for negotiations with the family of private soldier Sabit Wilson over the murder of retired Colonel Charles Sengola Okello, President Museveni faulted the army leadership in the murder and directed the UPDF leadership to lead the negotiations, not the family of the slain bodyguard.
Anyway, please, this is a very big embarrassment for the army. This is a very big embarrassment for the army. That somebody from you, whom you deployed to guard a useful cadre, ended up killing him. That's not good for you. As the army, you can't cover it up. This one, no. You must accept full responsibility. Matoput are the army. The army, they want to do Matoput.
The senior presidential advisor on Lango affairs, Sam Engola, remained puzzled why bodyguard Sabiti had to pelt 28 bullets in his namesake, Charles Okello Engola.
Had 28 bullets on him. This man shot my brother as if I don't know what. Everywhere on him was wounds or bullets. Here lying. I said, this man fought all the wars in Uganda, fought all the wars in Congo.
The widow to the deceased, Joyce Sengola, also gave a narrative of the shooting.
I couldn't stand after seeing my husband in a pool of blood with his ADC. I didn't know where I was taken. The whole world changed. My pressure went low, it came up, I had diarrhea, I had fever, I had every sort of,
Joined the army and hoped that if he's still alive, he would try to guide him into building a better career in the military, to replace him, because he realized that he would not, the people of Lango had taken him in wholesomely, so he would never go back to the army. But he would send someone who had his blood to carry on the mantle.
God, who is a working God, he also looks after widows and orphans. Have hope. Stay in the Lord. The Lord will not abandon you.
From Kololo Independence Ground, the body of the deceased was taken to his Chanja residence in Wakiso district for a night vigil. Thursday morning, the body will be flown to Lango.
Meanwhile, local artists in Lango have revealed the plans that the Labour Minister was pursuing to develop the industry in northern Uganda. Chairperson Northern Artists Association confirmed the late was due to complete a state-of-the-art studio in Oyam to promote local artists. Since his demise, many songs have been produced in recognition to his contribution.
Lately, social media and many airwaves have been carrying tribute songs for retired Colonel Charles Okello.
I love to stay with people who are happy.
In one of his interviews, the late confirmed his love for entertainment. Bonnie, are you a local band artist popularly known for entertaining people at gatherings using a thumb piano, is among the many artists in the region who have hailed the late through the creative art. Ayo and the late had agreed on many projects, including a trip to United States.
At least to reach and perform in the whole world. So the thing which has happened really has touched my life in a very bad way. Betty Amui to stand with me, because this program, it is on the way which I was supposed to go and perform in the United States on the 31st of August.
A renowned gospel artist in the region, Patrick Awiu, also known as Pato King, first met with Machoduogo Inopit in 2003 as a brigade commander.
How he entered Inopit, how people were displaced, and there was no way that people could do business in Inopit. But he told me when he entered there, he made sure that there was peace.
So, the death of Minister Okele Ngola reminds him of the fateful event of December 2nd, 1983, when David Oyitojok died in a helicopter crash.
He came from Kampala up to the district and ordered them, where is the money for the artists? In one day, all the artists were receiving money from their phones.
He could call you and tell you, can you do for me this and that? And he facilitates.
So he had even bought a studio. The studio is home there. I went and saw it. He has everything. The live band is home there. Everything is there. So
comedian Macaroni, who was supported by the late Obed Street Life, has also done a piece intended to preserve Ngola's name.
I'm okelo toye. One ubinu wayo district, ubinu wayo idilira karachiel kero yom. Memiyo jo kene niang ni atitenu kelo no lere chunywa.
So the meeting was, he wanted to sign artists who are going to be under him. The artist that is going to promote them.
In his song, the chairperson Northern Uganda performing artist says using the talent he nurtured and supported is the best tribute. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Now, President Museveni has underscored the need to strengthen peace and security in order for Uganda to continue achieving the desired socio-economic transformation. The president said this while delivering a lecture of opportunity to 67 police officers under the Criminal Investigations Directorate at State House, Entebbe.
During his lecture to CID officers at State House Entebbe, President Museveni noted that insecurity retards development because businesses cannot thrive. He gave an example of areas in Kampala like Munyonyo and Kansanga where people from all walks of life who ran away from their unstable countries are now running successful businesses in Uganda because of the prevailing peace. He gave an example of areas in Kampala like Munyonyo and Kansanga where people from all walks of life who ran away from their unstable countries are now running successful businesses in Uganda because of the prevailing peace.
Crime-free society. When there is crime, there is corruption, people cannot, investors can't come here. Because when investor comes here, instead of using the money to buy machinery, he must pay bribes. Bribe this one, bribe the other one, bribe the other one. In the end, the cost of doing business in Uganda becomes very expensive. And they run away. They go to other countries.
The president further noted that the only way Africa can have a prosperous life is to engage in production of a good or a service. He says Ugandans should get involved in the 4 sectors of wealth creation, namely commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services, and ICT.
CID, the security forces, have got a very crucial role in that principle number 3, socio-economic transformation. Socio-economic transformation will not happen if we don't have a good CID, if we don't have a good police, if we don't have a defense force which can guard the borders.
The Director of Police Criminal Investigations Department, Tom Magambo, informed President Museveni that they've made progress in working on high-profile cases and corruption.
Which is broad. We have been trying to, in the last 1 year, after this investment in training, we have started doing some work in terms of conducting investigations on some high-profile cases, on corruption, on murders, some targeted killings, terrorism, and other issues. Your Excellency, we shall continue from time to time to update you.
The Director of Human Resource Development at Uganda Police Force, AIGP Godfrey Goloba, thanked President Museveni for the trust he put in them to professionalize the force. Sharon Chondisha, UBC News.
Also, President Yoweri Museveni has launched a political pressure group codenamed Uganda for Museveni Movement, which is an NRM youth group led by Helen Seku to remain focused on economic growth and transformation. At a meeting with the group at State House in Entebbe, the president discussed challenges facing the NRM in Buganda, including multiple taxes on low-income traders, poor infrastructure, and bad implementation of government poverty alleviation programs. The discussions held at State House in Entebbe focused on the opportunities for the NRM party in Uganda and challenges that need urgent attention to further strengthen the party's support in the sub-region. The challenges ranged from multiple taxes on traders who are low-income earners, bad roads, poor implementation of the parish development model, emyoga, and other government poverty alleviation programs for the youth and women. The issue of coffee, where 2,500 farmers in Masaka lost their coffee seedlings, was also discussed. The youth leaders informed President Museveni that the affected coffee nursery operators are demanding compensation on grounds that the operation was not done in good faith and that the act demoralized those popularizing the cash crop in the region. President Museveni urged the youth to get actively involved in the parish development model, which he said was mooted to eliminate middlemen in purchasing agricultural supplies. He vowed to deal with those messing up the model on the program the same way he did in Acholi sub-region, and tasked the resident district commissioners and security personnel at all levels to strengthen monitoring of government programs. Now, counter-accusations rocked the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee after officials from National Council of Sports and the former Netball Federation failed to agree on the alleged mismanagement of funds. Officials were appearing before the committee to answer queries on alleged mismanagement of funds, diversion of allowances meant for players, and soliciting of kickbacks. Susan Nawonga has more.
Mission of accountability of Uganda shillings 100 million.
The Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee interfaced with officials from the National Council of Sports, the Boxing Federation of Uganda and the Netball Federation over inquiries on alleged misappropriation of over 3 billion as per the Auditor General's report 2022-2023.
First, the 25 million shillings. Did you receive?
I never received even a coin. So from that 100 millions. This allegation came up when I started pinning people about the 30 millions. It is not anywhere in writing. I've never seen it.
She got 25 million shillings when all of us were seeing. She put it down her drawer.
The committee made inquiries in the expenditure of the 100 million given to the council in September 2021 to cater for the male netball games in South Africa.
In a letter dated 14th October 2021 addressed to me, was signed by Honorable Sarah Babire Kitu, President, Uganda Netball Federation.
I wish to inform the Honorable Committee that that's not my letter. And at the time we had that trip, that was 2021 September, we had not acquired that seal.
The former president of the Uganda Netball Federation, Sarah Babire Kitu, told the committee that out of the 100 million received to cater for the games, 30 was given to Dr. Patrick Ogwell as kickback following his request. She alleges that Dr. Patrick Ogwell conditionally solicited for the 30 million kickback.
I issued a letter that I wrote to Dr. Ogwell telling or informing him of the 30 missing millions, where Mr. Muhumuza, I'm glad that some members of executive are here, he informed us that he had given it to Dr. Ogwell as a kickback.
Dr. Patrick Ogwell denied having received the kickback of 30 million, but instead received a refund of 15 million, which the Federation owed him.
I was very shocked.
Yeah. About what?
That she had given the money to Muhumuza to bring to me, that I had asked for the money.
He rubbished the claims, but also notified the committee that he has filed a case before the police CID for investigation over blackmail and allegations leveled against his personality by Sarah Babire.
The three came to you
and you demanded 40 million. They went and informed their boss, who said 40 million is a lot of money. And we are facing financial challenges. Isn't it possible for you to go back and ask Dr. Ogwell to reconsider?
The committee further established that the players who attended the South African Games were never given their allowances, even when the funds had been provided.
I never heard about the allowances because they told us that they haven't been given the 100 million shillings.
One Amina Mande, the former General Secretary for Netball Federation, faults Sarah Babirye for micromanaging the federation and disabling the structures at the federation, something that paved the way for misappropriation of funds.
When National Council gave us 100 million shillings, the treasurer went and withdrew 98 million shillings.
Correct.
The president told her openly when we were there, I am the accounting officer. I've said bring that money here.
At the tail end of today's cross-examination, the committee tasked both National Council of Sports and the Uganda Netball Federation to avail all supporting documents for inquiries on Thursday. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
And the Katikiro of Uganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has applauded all partners that have made efforts to restore Kasubi tombs that was destroyed in blazing fires in 2010. Katikiro visited the tombs this morning to assess the works of reinstalling. He also launched firefighting equipment and was officially handed over a guardhouse, Bujabukula, inside the tombs constructed by government. State Minister for Tourism, Martin Mugara, pledged government's commitment to continue operating with Buganda Kingdom to promote tourism in the country.
The works of restoring Kasubi tombs that gutted fire on 16th March 2010 is almost done. The Katikiro of Buganda, with partners in restoring the tombs, visited the place to assess the work in progress. The Katikiro toured firefighting equipment that has been installed in tombs to be used just in case of any fire outbreak. Katikiro appreciated government for the support and fulfilling its pledge of finishing the guardhouse.
The reason is to be handed over this guardhouse, which has been restored with the participation and support from the government of it. I'm honored that the Minister of State for Tourism from the central government has handed over to us this guardhouse.
Minister Mugara reaffirms government's commitment to continue collaborating with the kingdom to promote tourism.
Our commitment as government, we've supported the Buganda Kingdom from the time, it's unfortunate, from the time they had this challenge when the Masiro were burnt down. I think there was commitment from government from day one, when government supported with the over 2 billion shillings then, at where we are today. So I want to thank our partners, because beyond the construction, I think the biggest challenge still, because of the nature of the construction, is the fire problem. And I think that's why we are here today, to find a solution to that. So I want to thank all the partners.
The Katikiro assured the public to remain calm as the kingdom and the contractor strive to have the tombs completed in the shortest time possible.
What we witness here is not only for the people of Buganda or even Ugandans. I think it's for the world. We all, I think, have a duty to ensure that this place, this cultural installation, is preserved for humanity, for future generations. So that tripartite arrangement is very vital.
Ben Serunkuma, who led the team in the installation exercise of the firefighting equipment, highlighted the new technology of these machines.
Have installed fire detection equipment like detectors, call points and sounders to all the 16 houses within the complex. And each house has got a detector, a sounder, and a manual call point. In that, if somebody detects there's a fire, it's easy for him or her to press that call point to make an alarm for other people to evacuate, because to save their lives. And then we have also installed portable fire extinguishers in all houses within the complex. In that, if they see a fire starting as a small fire, these extinguishers can be used when the fire is still in its infancy period.
16th March 2010 will remain in the minds of many people who witnessed the burning of the tombs to ashes, as the arsonists remain unknown to date. Miriam Numcha, Andu Sebira, UBC News.
The senior presidential advisor for Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has held a meeting with the Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director, in which the UPDF General was briefed about the state of the roads and general infrastructure. His visit follows a launch of a social media campaign by a group of Ugandans calling themselves Concerned Citizens, highlighting the dilapidated state of roads in Kampala, which they said are responsible for the traffic jam and increased accidents in the city. General Muhoozi was taken for a tour of 6th and 7th Street in industrial area, some of the spots with roads in dire condition. He was accompanied by a team from the UPDF Engineering Brigade to examine the situation. Now, General Muhoozi is expected to support the work of Kampala Road Network. The KCC AED, Dorothy Kisaka, and her team thanked the General for the courtesy visit, promising progress and a supersonic rate at which work is done to make Kampala a beautiful city for the dwellers. Relatedly, Kampala's Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago wants government to conduct investigations into the misuse of funds that were allocated to rehabilitate and construct roads, city roads that is, under the KIIDP and KCRRP projects. Lukwago made the revelation while appearing before a council sitting chaired by Speaker Zahara Ruyirika, in which a summarized report on contracts was presented to the technical wing of KCCA.
Issues of accountability, we have to stand firm, and that is where we have to go and dig deeper and see what happened there.
What the revelations we have gotten from these contracts, and we are now going to take action because we have discovered there is fraud in this, there is unscrupulous conduct on the part of many of the key actors who are involved in these contracts, right from the time of awarding the contracts to execution of the same. They are glaring irregularities like powers of attorney which are not registered with the Registration of Services Bureau required and as required under the Registration of Documents Act, and they went ahead to act on those documents where they are not signed. Some have even expired and they have not been extended. We have even made a finding, a very disturbing one, that there are people who are acting here and they are agents of the contractors. One is the deputy director in charge of engineering. Can imagine, he's serving both entities. He's serving the contractors and he's also serving KCCA in that capacity. So that's conflict of interest and violation of the law. There are also things which are glaring, outright violation of the law. The Roads Act stipulates that for people who have their own utilities within the road reserves within that particular corridor, they will be required to have them relocated at their own cost, and that's what the Roads Act stipulates. But you can imagine they are allocated a whooping sum of 40 billion Uganda shillings towards that particular purpose, and with an interest of 10% going to the contractors as their profit margin, which is really very, very disturbing and absurd. So we want people who are responsible for this to be brought to book.
I'm in charge of engineering in the city, and the roads look this pathetic. Because I, as somebody elected, all I can do is talk, investigate, and monitor, make a report, full stop. The action comes from the technical officers. What have you done for your city? What have you done for your country? IGG, this is the time you're supposed to step in, ask for questions and get answers. If there is any money misused, attach property of all those people stealing public money. And of course, when you're done with that, we need to see some people spend years in jail, and we need to see our roads constructed. As simple as that. Police, where are you?
Pointed us. They have presented as though they are not competent people. Imagine we have a chairperson contracts committee who does not know the person he awarded a contract to. He doesn't know the contract. He doesn't know the person he awarded it to. He doesn't know even the details of this contract. Now I question, really, I don't know, but I'm baffled by Museveni's regime, where he sends cadres who are very incompetent to lead our institution. Where are we heading? That is my submission.
So the government has ordered all intern doctors on strike to return to hospitals and treat patients. Speaking at Uganda Media Center, Minister for Public Service Morori Mukasa said the protest by the intern doctors is not official and known to government.
Action by the medical officers, for instance, we talk now, has not been formally received by the Ministry of Public Service. We don't have that notice. No. We have just heard about it, social media here and there and so on, and people have been to hospitals telling us, oh, we don't see these people. So the formal approach has therefore not been followed. And we can say technically that for us, we don't know about that, and say, okay, why don't we formally register the complaints using the laid down procedures in the law? And since we are all law abiding, let's register them. Let's give the notice. Fellow countrymen and fellow countrywomen, to my fellow servants, servants of the people, that please, senior medical officers, do not go on strike. Do not put down your tools. Instead, work. Work, and then all the other things will be sorted out. We are committed, and there is no turning back.
Now to take a quick break, we'll return with more details.
With freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. That thing that makes us different from everybody else. Where does it grow infinitely? Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee, dairy farmland, and amazing maize fields. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. So you see, we are more than just a waving flag. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to improve the quality of life for Ugandans by creating sustainable jobs, businesses, and improving household incomes. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank. Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Towakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100*5# to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Tecno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
John Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Opposition, female members of Parliament are dismayed over Parliament's approval of the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill that put a tax burden on diapers. The Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill 2023 that was passed early this month, among others, was intended to increase revenue collection and also protect the environment from such non-degradable waste. According to a section of opposition members of Parliament, the tax is going to have to rather affect the elderly who depend on diapers, women with fistula conditions, and also bring about reproductive health issues.
There wasn't really very good communication from our side. As women and mothers of this country, we have the right to express dissatisfaction. A government that has a planning think tank, a planning unit, would plan for waste management to handle issues to do with environment. And we are saying those days people used to use nappies and wash. You wash in the morning, you wash mid-morning, you wash in the afternoon, you wash at night. That is when many women were actually staying home. We concentrated on the diapers, and we also talked about the sanitary pads, because these touch on reproductive health. Reproductive health is very important, and you know very well how much money government spends and civil society and development partners spend on reproductive health. If you look at this tax of 2.6 billion, how much is 2.6 billion? If you compare it to how much the government will spend on health-related issues, this tax is not researched. There's no clear background why they are imposing this increment. Because we could do without it if we use the money that we get from the taxpayers in the correct way. But the government has also been making commitments that they will be giving out sanitary pads. Children cannot go to school, especially girls, when they start going to their periods. And if we make and put more taxes on sanitary pads, that means our actions are actually affecting the enrollment and attendance of children or learners in schools. If we reduce the taxes on diapers, that means more women will now be able to afford and reduce time spent on unpaid domestic work. We want women to use diapers and be able to save some time for engagement in economic activities.
Now, the media in Rwenzori sub-region has, the media in Rwenzori sub-region has been operating at parallel lines with Uganda Wildlife Authority. However, in the attempt to have the working relationship cemented, the authority held a media engagement in which they requested the scribes to join hands with them in conserving and protecting nature. The engagement came at the right time when Queen Elizabeth National Park and Rwenzori National Park are facing a challenge of poaching, majorly in restricted areas.
As the Uganda Wildlife Authority and the media in the Rwenzori sub-region have been running a sour relationship, this in one or the other has affected the community vigilance when it comes to increasing poaching in restricted areas of Queen Elizabeth National Park and Rwenzori National Park. However, the Fourth Estate and the Uganda Wildlife Authority held dialogue to streamline the working relationship between the two cooperative entities to address challenges of poaching and conservation facing the two national parks. Speaking at the media dialogue held in Kasese Municipality, the Director Communications at the Uganda Wildlife Authority, Hanji Bashir, underscored the need to report poaching activities in restricted areas surrounded by the host communities to bring the culprits to book.
Media are key stakeholders in wildlife conservation, and therefore, if we do not engage them, there's no way they are going to access information. It is through engagement that media will access information so that they get to know our conservation efforts, but also get to know their role. What role can they play in ensuring that we conserve and protect our wildlife for the generations to come?
Portias Ezuma, the chief warden for Queen Elizabeth National Park, says that the penalties to those caught having crossed to the protected areas are now in place, and one would serve life imprisonment if found guilty by courts of law.
And there are penalties which vary from imprisonment, others are fines, or others are even a combination of the two. One thing you need to know also is in that law, for the first time in our history, the sentence of what we call life imprisonment for wildlife offense has now been put in the current Wildlife Act. He will be in prison for life. That is so far the heaviest in our history.
The Deputy Resident District Commissioner in charge of Busongora North County in Kasese District, Zephanas Mubwingwa, commended the media for being agents in the dissemination of development information to the public.
Me, if I am to rate the factors that trigger development, the factors that facilitate development, I would put the media as number one.
Now, the Deputy Managing Director, Huawei International Uganda, Gao Jin, has called upon Ugandans to embrace the internet communication technology-led fourth industrial revolution. The revolution demonstrates artificial intelligence, which is envisaged to shape the 21st century development agenda. Jin made the remarks at the launch of the Huawei Information Communication Technology Academy, which was followed with the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Ndeje University.
City has continued to lead the way in advancing Uganda's education in order to propel proportionate economic development and growth. From its prowess in sport to the engineering and nursing departments, Ndeje University has now embraced information communication technology, without which the 21st century will only be a dream for Uganda.
Today we have seen a great event of signing an MOU between Ndeje University and Huawei, and it represents great opportunities for the development of ICT in the Ndeje University to begin with, and the country at large. Huawei is one of the biggest companies that offers such opportunity in the world, and we have been in the talks for some time.
The university signed a memorandum of understanding with Huawei International Uganda that has kick-started the Information Communication Technology Academy.
Because, as I mentioned in my speech before, is that the university students get exposure to the job market. They get a skill they want to be in the job market. Because now training students just to get a first class is no longer important. They must have skills for the market. So through Huawei Design Academy, our students get to have hands-on skills that they need to be able to work in the job market. So it qualifies them to be for the job market as well.
The university leadership underscored the importance of information communication technology in academic research and knowledge transfer. Recipient undergraduates applaud this initiative that they say will enable adopting ICT plus its attendant artificial intelligence, which will help bridge Uganda's relevant gaps to grow it economically. Steam powered the first industrial revolution, electricity powered the second, preliminary automation and machinery engineered the third, with information communication technology shaping the current fourth industrial revolution.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Junko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best movies I teach you! But I'm going to put them squad because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious, you! What? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar! We buy milk from Umaru. And the woman refuses to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Welcome to Business News. The Tanzania Ports Authority is committed to offering seamless transport and logistics services during and after the construction of the multi-billion-dollar East African crude oil pipeline. Dennis Sugoa has more.
Bring us up to speed of why TPA is here at the 10th biannual East African Petroleum Conference.
We are attending a conference with the theme of oil and gas and how each organization is prepared towards that. When we speak as TPA, what I can say is there are a lot of infrastructure developments that have so far been undertaken at the TPA, at our authority. This is basically to ensure that our services are running seamlessly without any hindrances, without any problems to our stakeholders that we are serving. Because we understand that when we become inefficient, this will automatically implicate higher cost in terms of the final products that are being delivered to our stakeholders.
Just give us an insight of some of the roles that you're going to play or you're already playing, and how prepared are you as an organization that is into logistics?
So when it comes to the ECOP, we really understand that we have got a very important role to make sure that oil moves smoothly, because when that happens, then that efficiency happens, then we'll automatically be able be in a better position to lower the cost of the final production. Now, when it comes to TPA, at TPA we have got a huge development project called the DMGP, Dar es Salaam Marine Gateway Project. This is the project that is being both funded by Tanzania and the World Bank. The project came with 4 or 5 initiatives as the areas to improve. One is the capacity building of the human resource. We all know that without the human resource, then different operations will not be able to be taken care of. And the second one is the technological innovations. We all know that we are not operating in an island. We are operating in a globalized world. We affect and get affected to what is happening out there. So DMGP has come with an initiative to improve the technological initiatives at our authority, because we know technology creates convenience and we want to make our services easier and easier to our customers. TPA recognizes the competitive pressure that is around the globe, and we are trying and we are striving so hard to make sure that we improve the level of service delivery to our clients.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Asante.
And now, after Mobile Commerce Uganda Limited and the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, have launched an Open Application Program Interface API initiative in Kampala, Uganda. The initiative will allow innovators to securely integrate their businesses with Airtel Money services, enabling them to offer payment services to various value chains.
Okay,
The program interface enables different systems to communicate with each other, making business processes and service delivery more efficient. In Uganda, most APIs are private and only available at exorbitant costs. By opening its APIs to third-party innovators, Airtel aims to offer services that can enable merchants to transact with customers in a safe, instant and secure way.
Done is we have made it so easy for any fintech who has a basic IT capability to be able to come to the party, connect our system to the system of the last mile, and I'll give you samples of systems of the last mile. These are systems used by SACCOs, VSLEs, government, sometimes in local authority to collect the money. Now, seamlessly, the fintechs can build that capability which connects our core platform to the last mile systems in a very simple, secure way.
Remain committed to delivering affordable services, invoice, e-commerce, internet, home broadband, security and cloud computing. We are making substantial capital investments to empower our customers to imagine, create and deliver transformational initiatives and solutions. The launch of Airtel Money Open APIs represents our commitment to democratizing digital financial inclusion, aligning with the goals set forth in the 3rd National Development Plan, in which Airtel Uganda plays a very, very vital role.
United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF's partnership with Airtel is part of its flagship program to drive the growth of inclusive digital economies. Honorable Dr. Chris Barriomonsi, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, says the innovation was a smart approach towards financial inclusion right from the grassroots.
You engage into innovations and come up with products to satisfy the interests of this population in Uganda, especially these young people. And they have taken on and embraced technology with vigor in earnest. And therefore it's a challenge to you, Airtel and the other partners, that in your quest to improve services, you must always be creative, you must also be innovative, and you must come up with products that satisfy all of us as we improve technology. So I want to appreciate you for having, because initially the telecoms were mainly known for communication, really making phone calls. I can sit here and call somebody in Kanungu or in Kitugum on phone. But over time, you have expanded the different products that you offer. And I can say mobile money and financial transactions have caused a revolution in the way we do things. And officially open the Open API provided by Airtel Uganda.
Airtel has partnered with key players in the digital financial space to empower and connect low-income customers with access to and utilization of digital services that promote financial inclusion. Sandra Kahonde, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News Tonight.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me, and as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Yokato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Not so the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
In sports, as the Fresh Diary Senior Secondary Games enter Day 3, physiotherapists have been key for the wellness of the students. Each school was advised to have a medic during the games.
Contact sport, injuries are common during play. For rugby, however, it's beyond injuries. Careers are shattered, and sometimes lives are lost if injuries are not managed well. Every rugby team, a physio on the pitch is a must, accompanied by an ambulance in case of an emergency. Meet Susan Mosoke, a teacher and a physio of King's College Budo. Susan manages injuries of players and physical wellness before and after a game. She asserts that the management of injuries involves monitoring of a particular pitch if it is suitable for play.
We first inspect the pitch, whether it is suitable, fine for our students. If it is not fine, we don't allow our students to play on such a pitch. The safety for our children, we deal with the age, and then the people who are going to take care of them, those are the medics. We deal with the referees and the caretakers.
Common injuries in rugby include concussions, sprains, strains, shoulder dislocation, overuse injuries, and slipped discs.
It depends to which injuries. Most of them, they get well trained. They know what to do. They know how to play with the ball. So if you see that someone is going to attack you and brings you like a fracture, you dodge. That's how they do. It depends those teams who doesn't know what to do. But if you know what to do, now let me say Budo, they know what to do. Now the game are finished, no one has got injured. That means the work for the coach has been good.
As the Fresh Diary Senior Secondary School Games in Barara enter Day 3, emphasis on medics has been key, ensuring safety of students. And on Day 3, basketball took center stage, where Seroma Christian School defeated St. Mary's Rushoroza 51-18. St. Noah dominating the ladies with a 43-point margin against Seroma girls. King's College Budo, on the other hand, dominated rugby, qualifying to the quarterfinals of the games.
It was a good game. They were a physical team. They brought the game to us towards the beginning of the second half maybe, but we came here confident and hopeful for the win, and walked away with the points.
Fresh Diary invested 240 million shillings in these games with a talent identification strategy. Ngabo Emon reporting for UBS TV.
Also, Uganda has joined the rest of the world to celebrate Kids World Athletics Day. Hosted at Kasana Playground in Luwera, the occasion coincided with the National Primary Schools Athletics Championship.
Rope skipping, cross jump, target throwing, hurdle sprints, and continuous relay.
Yes, we are celebrating athletics. Athletics is a sport, a foundation sports for all sports. We run, jump and throw event. So we are identifying talents as well as to try to build interest of kids in sports. Every child must be able to move, and that's why we're here. They must be able to move.
According to our standards here in this country, we are beginning with 12, 14 and under 16. So this one is below the 10 years were not being considered. But because of today's activities and the importance of the day, we have discovered that we had lost a lot. And therefore we have to go back and sit with the people, the managers of these schools, the nursery schools, the daycares, and design activities that fit their age and that can also be competed for to promote the game and develop the game.
The Primary Schools National Kids Athletics and Special Needs Championship has attracted 145 districts and more than 5,000 learners whose passion and talent has impressed.
We are here for the sports because every person is uniting together, like they were at school, train together, we unite, and at our school we're together like tribe by tribe, Sudanese with Ugandans, Buganda, so I'm so happy to be here.
Also that our original concept to include, to be inclusive. We started in Bavaria, being inclusive, looking at our children, visually impaired children.
Kids athletics, ladies and gentlemen, is different. It is where we promote and develop talent of the young children in all skills of sports, such that a child having attained the skills in kids athletics, he can be able to undertake other sports.
When I see this large number of kids coming from all over the country and the excitement which is here, it's actually fun. For the kids, it's fun. They are doing it for fun and we are enjoying the fun. But I know as they do this, they are being inspired for the future.
The championship runs till next week with excellent performers primed for further honing to benefit Uganda. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Well, and that does it for news tonight. Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngozi. Have yourselves a lovely evening.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Super Soul Sisters, and we're still having a lot of conversations with amazing women. We bring you Super Soul Sisters. Like we said here, we celebrate women. Every time we're celebrating women because the world needs to know that when you give responsibility to women, they will actually perform. Or if you allow them to be free and allow them to be creative and do things, they will do awesome things. Now, it is Super Soul Sisters. My name is Rona Kajumba. Tonight, we are with Eve Grace Amoti. Eva, right? Yes, Eva please. Grace Amoti. And I know, I missed one. But thank you for making time for us.
You're welcome.
Yes. And earlier on, we were having a conversation with someone else, and he said, I was listening in, and I hope that this is the kind of show you're comfortable being on.
100%. I just love it, and I follow you.
Oh, thank you so much.
I follow you on YouTube.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And usually how we start, I know how you know how we start. Okay. We want our people out there to know and understand who our Super Soul Sisters are. Why are we naming you Super Soul Sisters? Now, quite often, these conversations don't happen. But we're talking to both the men and the women, boys and girls, which for us, we are honored to have women like you to engage with us. And I am